Welcome back to Benchwarmer Ball. I'm Mike. We're here with another episode of Bench Lights. They're so nice and light. Man, you have to watch them twice. Today we're going to be talking about the Cats. The Bengals and the Jaguars. Both out to a 1-0 lead. And this game today is going to be a big question of why not? And it will be an almost need to win. And that's just down to the schedules for both teams following this game. After, the Bengals will be playing the Vikings, the Broncos, the Lions, Packers, and Steelers, of which the Vikings, Broncos, and Packers are all away games. So very rough schedule, right? And when you have the Ravens and Steelers in your division, you need to keep a lead going strong. And similarly, the Jaguars, for once, actually have a win while the Texans are behind them. Again, it's week 1. Things are probably going to change, but after this week, they got to go play the Texans, and then after that, it'll be the Niners. Brock Purdy probably won't be back, but that's still not an easy place, a team to have to play, especially when CMC seems to be getting back on track. And then they follow with the Chiefs, Seattle, and then the Rams lplaying out a lot of the NFC West. So again, not great schedules for like the first third of each season, each team season remaining after this. So this is somewhat of a must-win game because why shouldn't each team win this game, right? I mean, we're talking about the Bengals offense, You go and get your guys signed. Joe Burrow now has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in Cincinnati still. And they have Trey for a year.
Now get out of here.
So they got a gritty win week 1. The question is, why not beat a team as bad as they performed last year, like the Jaguars? And for the Jaguars, you can beat this defense in Cincinnati. They played great last week. We'll get into that. But if with this new Duvallll system, they really need a chance to believe. And this is a game to do it before they have to start getting into some gritty defensive battles. Real quick, it's going to be the pass rush. Right, that will be what decides these games. Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow, neither of them are great necessarily at running the ball. Each will have their moments of rushing, but the sooner that pass rush can get to these quarterbacks and get them off their feet, the much more likely each team will be, A, to get the other offense off the field, which is the priority, and then B, to get time for your team to score. I think obviously key players with that in mind. Josh Hines-Allen, seeing if he can get to Joe Burrow. And for the Bengals, it's going to be Trey Hendrickson is the 1-year contract. Will that help them at least put the now unsacking quarterback? Unsacking? Is that how English works? I was a history major. Can Trey Hendrickson get Trevor Lawrence off of his feet? And I think he will, right? And another aspect to really look at the game will be the rushing attack, right? Because that will also be rock, paper, scissors. How are they going to counter these really heavy, probably pass rushes we'll be seeing is a good run game. And Travis Etienne Jr., I have him on my fantasy team, and I had him benched for week 1. And I also had Tucker benched for week 2 because, yeah. But seeing how he runs the ball is going to be really important for the Jaguars to have good rhythm on offense, right? Because none of the receivers were spectacular necessarily in that win over the Panthers, but it's really still a question of they run the ball. These options are open, especially against, what we saw against Cincinnati last year. Conversely, Chase Brown had some okay games last year. I trust the stats from the Bengals game week 1 more than the Jags just because of the storm. Last week for Cincinnati, looks like Chase Brown averaged 43 yards over 21 carries, so just over 2.4 yards per carry. So nothing crazy. He will need to improve that so that they just don't keep throwing up all these zone reads against the Bengals. But again, when you throw a zone, how good is that going to be against Jamar Chase? How good is that going to be against T. Higgins? They're going to beat guys eventually. It's just a question of time. All right, so for the battle of the Cats between the Cincinnati Bengals and Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 2 of the NFL regular season, I have the game tape, and the game tape says that we are sitting at a 6 point game difference, with the Bengals taking the win 23-17. I think that we're going to at least see one turnover, whether it's Trevor Lawrence throwing a pick or if there's going to be a fumble at play. One turnover from the Jaguars will probably be what helps Cincinnati put it away. Again, though, if Jamar Chase or T. Higgins makes a huge play to start the game, I think this will get out of hand very quickly for the Jaguars. But hey, our team can win it, so let's see if they do. Until next time, I'm Mike, and thank you for watching Benchwarmer Ball.